It's Filter Free Friday, y'all. I'm glad y'all here. For 4 years, I used to drive from Kansas City to Omaha, Nebraska. And there were a couple places where I'd like to take a little rest stop. One was Mound City, Missouri. But one time, my girlfriend Lisa was like, "Child, have you used the bathrooms at that little spot right before Rockport, Missouri?" And I was like, it's a gas station. What could be exciting about a gas station? You see, when I would stop in Mound City, I was actually going to a McDonald's because, I don't know, I just find when I'm traveling the roads, McDonald's, Quick Trips, they tend to just have decent restrooms. And I can appreciate that because, listen, the sis trying to, anyway. So one time I stopped at this gas station in on the way to Rockport. And when I get it inside, I'm seeing, just hunting gear and beef jerky and pickled items. I pick up me some pickles, you know what I'm saying? But when I get in this restroom, they have individual stalls. It's not like a big restroom with no, you got your own little room. And when I get inside my own little room, it's beautifully toweled, amazingly clean. They had a process checklist, where they done cleaned it last. And baby, they got bidets in there. So I take a little picture with my phone because that's what we do these days. I sit down, I use the little bidet. Their bidet is even different. You can control the temperature of the water. It's got a little blow dryer to dry you off, and you can control the temperature of the blow dryer. And they've got the whole sanitation thing down, baby. So anyway, I finished using the restroom. I call Lisa. Now, this is every time now when I'm driving up to Nebraska or Iowa, up 29 or up to South Dakota to see her, we talk about, hey, did you stop at the gas station? It's like our thing. Now, why am I bringing that up on a Filter-Free Friday? As we are having toilet paper shortages all over the United States, folks been looking at us a little crazy in some countries anyway, because they're like, your butt's nasty and you need to use some water. You can get bidets for as cheap as $20. And I think that's an important thing to think about when we're talking about diversity, because I'm hearing that people are using all kinds of things instead of toilet paper, but that's just because you've not been exposed to things like bidets. And so what does that look like when we're trying to figure out how to solve a persistent challenge and all we know is what we know? We don't realize that there's a bidet out there. I even had someone say, well, how you dry your butt after you use the bidet? Well, you get the bidet with the blow dryer. And I thought it was important to talk about that today because sometimes we have challenges and problems, and just based on either exposure or based on personality, we don't really know how to see ourselves out of it. And that is why difference of thought is important. For me, when my eyes were opened to systemic oppression and racism, I started to see it everywhere, but somebody had to tell me. And because of my personality, someone giving me information, I don't care what the information is. It's not negative. Data can be presented in two ways. I can say 10% of people die, or I can say 90% of people survive. But either way, that's just data. Data's not positive or negative. It just is. Now, one feels positive and one feels negative. But those two sets of data don't have feelings. They just are. And so I feel like I need to apologize. And I don't know why, but I feel like I need to apologize if you follow me on social media right now, because my job is to help raise awareness. I ain't telling nobody what to do, but I'm going to raise awareness to issues of systemic oppression against Black people, against brown people, against people with disabilities, against people who were born in rural areas, against poor people. I'm going to raise awareness to that. And I don't see that as negative. But I need to apologize because during this time, folks are highly stressed. Folks got a lot of stuff going on. And my calling out might feel like gaslighting or seem like gaslighting. And that's not what I want at all. But what I do want is if you value positivity, and if you value lifting the world up, just know that it's just a point of fact. I am going to call out when I see you use this opportunity to be negative about Black skin. There are a lot of systemic reasons why the coronavirus is attacking people with Black skin, resulting in their death at higher rates. I'm only going to list one of them. 4 out of 5 people with Black skin have jobs that they cannot do from home. I could keep going, but just that one would let you know that there's a disproportionate way in which we would experience corona. I have a cousin, or actually I have several cousins who work in the medical field, and they know that people with Black skin are less likely to get the services that they need. That's not my opinion. It's not negative. It doesn't mean I think anything against the individual people who work in healthcare. It means we have a systemic issue around policy and practices, unconscious biases that need to be addressed. Why do I bring that up right now? The most persistent question that I'm getting from clients right now is, how do we prioritize diversity, equity, and inclusion, or culturally responsiveness, during this time of a pandemic? I know what that means, but I'll say this, just like toilet paper, if you don't prioritize diversity and equity and inclusion right now, there's some answers to some persistent challenges that you ain't gonna get because you just don't know, because you don't have that experience. Diversity and inclusion and equitable practices make us smarter. It's not about your moral compass. Why I got these gloves on? I was going to do a demonstration on how to take your gloves off, so let me just go ahead and do it. I worked in the field of environmental health and safety, and my job was to make sure that all of the people in operations in certain parts of a company knew how to use their PPE and were properly safe. So anyway, when you're out and you think you have touched something that might have corona on it, because I'm assuming that's why y'all wearing gloves, there is a way to take this glove off. You got to try not to touch your skin, baby. And turn this glove inside out, getting it all the way down to the fingers like that. So now the inside has not been exposed. Now with the other glove, touch the inside of the first glove, trying not to touch your hand now. And you grab and pull that one off. And with the inside of that one, you pull them both off. Now you're just on insides of gloves, right? And I think I might not have gotten it right because it's been over 10 years since I've had to do it. Do you see how ridiculously complicated that was? I don't know if you've also noticed how hard it is to not touch your face. It's hard. The better thing to do is to stay inside so that you're not being exposed. And if you can't stay inside, wash your hands with soap and water. 20 seconds between the webs, under the fingernails, Wash your hands, baby. It's too hard to figure out how to take gloves off, and it's too hard to not touch your face, especially during allergy season. Wash your hands. I don't know if that was helpful, but if you get out, I hope it is. It's Filter Free Friday, y'all. We got work to do.